Hi, everybody. So, today subject just information, how we prepare to qualified uh, receive higher empowerment. So, to understand this, I think we need reflect a few things, and then we have to do the actual application, which means everybody individually have to prepare. So let's say basically everything in the website so is like don't need really talk about too much. However, modern people have too much information everywhere. So sometimes we gather together and then talk verbally, may be helpful. That's why we're doing. So, which means everybody lost of information. Little concentration and too many distractions. So, for us organizers, it's a lot of job, incredible dedication to put all information available. But people have not even the time to read, not even make effort to read and reflect. So that means you guys must read the website very thoroughly and reflect very thoroughly. When I say this, if you don't do thoroughly, something is dangerous for your survival life and rebirth. That's not what I'm saying, not necessarily. But it is so important for rare and precious opportunities. You miss out. That's what I'm saying. Therefore, is important. Okay? So, to prepare this, first, let's say, we're going to reflect what other religion systems they have to prepare things. Doesn't matter, whatever you know, think about these things. How much preparations they need. They have a lot or they have a very little. Secondly, how much we need prepare just to be a modern civilized person. How many educations we have to go through to be just qualified civilized modern person, capable to live with modern life. Since you born, how many things have to go through the childhood, and how many things have to take care by parents, and then after schools, teachers, and then job experiences, voluntary work, just to get a job, to ready to marry, to have children, live life as like a modern, how do you say, culture. All of them are just for survival, basically. That's all. We're not thinking anymore anything, and just enter die. You don't even know when you die, very young age, or you don't know. But enter then, that's the boil down, the goal, not much, but how many preparations we need. You need to reflect this. I don't have to talk all of them. You need to reflect on this. And then think about the Buddhist traditions, Theravadan Buddhist traditions, Mahayana Buddhist traditions, another word, the Southern Asian Buddhist, and then Eastern, the Chinese and Japanese kind of Buddhist. What they have to do, how many stages they need prepare. You need to reflect. Maybe not too much. And then come to Tantrayana, other traditions, other than this, my Kalachakra system. Others, how much they have to do, what they have to do. You need to reflect. Why you need to reflect? Because the only reason we make sure you are the right path. You are the right path means not the others the wrong path. Okay? Don't misunderstand. It doesn't mean the others are wrong path. But which one is your favorite path? Which one is your personally more suitable path? You just make sure on that. There is no such thing superior, inferior in general sense. However, there should be a better than other personal level, personal suitability, personal dependent the personal capacity, the personal favor, the personal suitability. That level you should have differences. just same as all the medicines, they are medicine. In general, there is no such thing inferior medicine and superior medicine for everyone. However, individually, yes, there is right medicine for you, wrong medicine for you. Wrong medicine could be gone to becomes a poison. So same thing, you have to reflect all of them. Okay? So then within the Tibetan tradition, if you can reflect what native Tibetans doing and what the foreign selling Tibetan Buddhism guys, what they're doing. Are they doing the same thing or are they doing the different? I think it's quite important if you can reflect that. But if you can't, that's not easy because there is incredible big barrier of the language. If you don't understand language fluently, it's not easy to understand what they're doing. So forget about it if you don't, it's too difficult for you. However, those lamas teaching in your language, or at least in English, in the Western countries, or some Asian countries, non-Tibetans, what they're teaching, what they're doing. You reflect which one is suitable for you. In general, very limited what I saw, that many of them, it seems like saying, oh, if you receive this empowerment, until then you cannot practice this. If you not receive this empowerment, you cannot practice this deity. You cannot recite this mantra. Even you cannot look at that image. You should not look at. Somebody not receive this deity's empowerment. You should not talk other people about this. I heard those things. My head is may very limited. But I hope that is a minority. Not everybody doing this. But to me, this is a little bit strange. If everybody doing this. It is not exactly like that way. It is not incredible dangerous. It's not about poison. It's not about weapon. Also, we need to reflect about the time. What ancient time do, prepare the empowerments, practices, what they need to prepare. What modern time cannot be exactly same. We all know everything need update. Even the core system same, even the core purpose same, still need some update. For instance, if you say, oh, you cannot look at this image, how does that work? Everybody have internet. Every parent can find it. Everywhere. Somebody could put in a sign. Somebody could put on jacket, t-shirt. Some people put in even pants and shoes, which means incredibly insulting for the native Tibetans. Do you know that? The most insulting, you can put that deities in on your pants or shoes or skirt, something lower wear. That is ultimately insulting. Do you know that? That is just culturally. Okay, it's not tantra and I say if you do this, you go to hell. No. Okay, but culturally, culture means habit patterns, certain way of think, certain way of believe, certain way of acting, get used to. But even we put on your t-shirt or something, jacket or over, wear something upper part of body is still not very respected culturally. Even you put in the heart, maybe that's a little bit better, but not perfect. The culturally, what you have to do is only the most, the best in your home, the highest place on kabet or inside kabet, like that. Anyway, I don't talk that too much. Say, for instance, if you say a very particularly, if you say, if you have Avalokiteshvara empowerment, then you can only practice Avalokiteshvara, but not Manjushri. If you have received Kalachakra practice, empowerment, then only you practice Kalachakra, but not Guru Samaya. This is not right information. Okay? Do you know why? Because all enlightened beings are one unification, inseparable unification, not just two together. And they exist, purpose of exist to liberate all sentient beings, nothing else. Why is like, oh, we have two girlfriends, one is happy, then one is angry. It's not like that. So that's, I think, very important to understand. Secondly, the lamas also should be the same. If they are rare lama, then should be life dedication is only interesting to liberate the followers at least. But without motivating liberate sentient beings, you can't even liberate your followers. So therefore, should not be, if one lama is happy, then the one lama is jealous. Should not be that way. So please, not concern of that. Okay? Should not concern of that. If did, then that lama's problem, not your problem. But in ancient time, probably, if you say, can you teach me high empowerment, high tantra, what I need to prepare? Probably they say, oh, you just do slave for me 5 years, then I will see you are ready or not. Are you ready be slave for me? Maybe they don't use that word slave, but so basically, are you prepared live with me? Probably they don't even ask, oh, live with me 5 years, then I will see. So they say that. But in the modern time, I don't think we have to go this way. So I believe we have other ways, because the modern time, nobody have that dedication. Nobody have their interest. Why? Nobody's interest. You stay 5 years with somebody, so maybe he or she will teach me. Maybe. No guarantee at all. Who's prepared that? Why people not prepare that? Because too many options, too many options, too many distractions. In nice way is too many options. Life's too good. In the bad way, too many distractions. So you don't really know what is important. But the society tell you often, especially in the television, not important things tell you is the most important. Therefore, you can't do that. That means we don't have time for this. We don't have enough interest in this way. Is that the way? Yes, the answer is this is the way, but maybe not the only way. So definitely a way, but not only way. So then the others say, oh, you have to practice only this, nothing else, you never go away. I also not totally agree with that. So I created my own way. So that's all in the website, but I'm going to explain you a little bit. And then the other systems, remember, everything, the Nondro, you have to do 100,000 prostration, 100,000 refugee, 100,000 bodhicitta, 100,000 Vajrasara mantra, 100,000 Guru Yoga, 500,000. Remember, that's only option, no other way. Remember, all Tibetan traditions, as far as we know, no other option. But I think that some of them is so easy and just no steps and just everything. So what I'm trying to do is all Nondro, that 5,000 ones, 5 subjects. Anybody can do it anytime. The others say, oh, this also you have to need some transmission, or you need some empowerment initiation. I say, no. If you have it, good. You don't need. The only thing, one thing you need is your interest in and your willingness and your effort and your dedication. This all together one. Basically one, isn't it? One inside you can part these patterns. That's all we need. Either you have empowerment or no empowerment, either way. That's what I'm saying. Then also I'm saying, I said this reason why, because they are preliminaries, not real Tantrayana. It's a preparation of Tantrayana. If you Tantrayana generation and a compilation stages, if it's like building, the preparations you just making plans, drawing plans, and buy materials. So you need to prepare those things, but they are not actual building. Same thing, why you need some empowerment. I mean, you have it, that's good. You don't have it, that's okay. Because empowerment means is not make something a boundary with others. It's not about boundary with your friends. It's not make boundary for other Buddhists, other followers. It's not about that. It is your training. Some conditions, some facility. That's all. Therefore, why have to make incredible strict? So no need. You prepare. But okay, do you need 100,000, 100,000, 100,000 each? Everybody say, do you need this? Is this Kalachakra tradition do that? Is this Jonang tradition do that? The answer is yes. Traditionally, they do this, yes. So, what I'm suggesting, if you do all of them 100,000 times each, you can do it. We appreciate that is traditional, incredible lamas say should do it. So must be have purpose, and you must be fit in their purpose. So say, I do it, please. But only if that is your favor way. If you feel like to do this way. So I want to give you other options. Why want to give other options? Because time, people changed, time changed, developabilities changed. Ancient time, there's no such thing, internet. There's no many things not exist. There's no many texts. So I have all the texts available for you, all the commentaries, all the teachings, even like video teachings, everything you have. There's so many facilitations we prepared for you. So therefore, you can have more option. Also, your suitability, your personal suitability. So you have option. Okay? So that means in ancient time, why they do 100,000 each, everything? That's the only way. The answer is not from the beginning until now. They also some have changes. But sometime maybe 11th century or 13th century, 12th century, 13th century, 14th century, maybe 15, some of them, 16, 17, from there, between all those, then becomes that tradition. So probably like 17th, 18th century, from there, maybe everybody is similar. Until then, not everybody same. Think of that. Now, I'm sure everywhere changes some. But I like to really particularly want to change. My change is very simple. Only optional, not you must change. So that is emphasize the quality of practice rather than quantity. That's all. That's all I would like to change, but only if you feel not very easy to the traditional way of the quantity. Also saying is not all traditional lamas say you only focus on quantity, but people becomes like this, especially nowadays, people becomes like that. So that's why what I see is should focus other way, should have other option. Look at the quality, not at the quantity. Okay, the qualities we already had everything in the websites, but I want to give you a little bit other option today. If there is, you have a difficulty with language, if there is no website in your language and you don't know other language at all, or some difficult, then I want to give you a simple message, hopefully matched with the website information. But if not totally match, that's okay. So for the quality, what you have to do is you have to read. If you haven't done anything, study, practice anything from zero today, if like that, then you have to read all my books. All my books means not too many, only 7 books. Read carefully 7 books and watch the videos, matched all of them mostly, and then become the familiarization of the sadhana and these 5 subjects. You practice not too many quantity, but only at minimum level 100 times each of them. 100. That's very little, okay? Very, very little. 100,000, remember? That is only 1% of the traditional way saying. But extra what I give you is the quality. Formalization of the subject, understanding. You dedicate on that. And the actual way of traditional way of doing, the 100,000 each need one, you do only 100 times each. Okay? You do that, then finish. And then after that, you have to do generation practice. So the generation practice, if you have any high empowerment in any other deity, that's okay. You can go ahead. If you had Kala Chakra empowerment from somebody, that's perfect. If you have no empowerment at all, but if you know the highest level of Tantra concept, then still okay, you go ahead. But only all of them go ahead after the 5, everything. You done, 5 subject done. After that, you only go the generation. Okay? I made you so easy and so easy. Compare the tradition. But I hope that is not less value. I believe this more valuable, but more easier. Definitely less time consuming. That's I suggest. Then you have to fill the application. But all of them you do in conditions. It doesn't guarantee you are qualify receive empowerment. After we read all the applications, we went through a lot, and then sometimes we need even interview everything. If you filled the form very good, that helps a lot. Then after that, decide whether you are qualified now or later. But never wasted that. Even you didn't qualify it this time, you will be. You prepared a lot. So remember that, please. Okay? But I want to tell you another new option today. But this new option only applied if there's only you have no information, you have no books in your language. My book is not finished in your language, only for them. Only for them. But for others, we have to see which one more suitable, the old one already in the website or the new one. We have to look carefully, both sides, you or us. But more likely, you have to stick with the traditional one. But tiny possibility, you have option. But those who has no facilities in your language, only for them, I make a new option. Okay? That new option is you have to understand in general Buddhism, of course. You have to understand that one thing. On the top of this, refugee practices, we have the sadhana, definitely we have all languages. So the refugee practice, usually people doing 100,001, you have to do only 10,000 times. Only 10,000. That means 10%. And then bodhicitta, you not just repeat the bodhicitta inside book. I would like you do is learn how to take Bodhisattva vows, Bodhisattva pledges, we call, and train in your mind to not only vision, but want to take responsibility, inspiration to liberate all sentient beings. That Bodhisattva vows, you take 10,000 times. 10,000 times. That means you can take 6 times a day in 24 hours. Maximum you can take 6 times a day. Not day and night, like 24 hours. Or you can do 3, you can do 2, you can do 5, you can do 4, you can do 1. That I don't care. If you every day do only 1, or you a week 1, or whatever, or 6 times maximum, 6 times a day, that's okay. Whatever you have to do, 10,000 times. And then Vajra Sarva mantra, 100-syllable mantra, you definitely have to do 10,000 times. And then mandala, you must buy the mandala, physical mandala, the mandala you make in like these rings and jewels inside that one. You have to buy one, and then you have to find somebody teach you physically. Probably we have opportunities online, so you learn that, and then you do 100,000 times. Oh, one thing I forgot. This person must buy a refugee tanka, and then you set up auto, and then you prostration doing there. Oh, first you have to do 100,000 prostration, remember? That's with auto. And then Bodhisattva vow you taken 10,000 times, 10,000 times prostration in front altar. Bodhisattva vows taken 10,000 times in front altar. Mandala 10,000 times. Mandala you don't have to do 10,000 times. You only do 1,000 times. 1,000 times one mandala, do actual mandala, but you have to do water offerings, flower, incense, distance, you have to do 1,000 times. 2,000 totally. Only 2,000. Okay? And then Vajrasarva mantra, you have to do definitely 10,000 times. After that, Guru Yoga, I really would like you guys, the empowerment book you have. If you receive empowerment from me, you read that 1,000 times. Not just read the fast. You read when you are reading, when you receive empowerment, similar way, do 1,000 times. But the main purpose, you become familiar, okay? Not just reading quantity, more familiarization. You build the familiarization. That's empowerment. Okay, somebody never received empowerment. from me, then you do only Guru Yoga, 5,000 times. That means the whole Nondro, including Guru Yoga, read 5,000 times. Not only read, but properly, because some more empowerment inside Guru Yogas, self-empowerment. So that means the read, when you're doing this Guru Yoga practice, the other part of book you can go fast, but the Guru Yogas, you be very carefully do it. Then 5,000 times total. Okay? When you done that, then you have to learn the Tantra, the information about innate Kala Chakra in my book, if you have that. But if you don't, you don't have that one, then any in Kala Chakra information in your language, doesn't matter which tradition, any of them, you read information and build a familiarization. If you have nothing, these things, no valuable at all, somehow you learn Kala Chakra mandala. That should be your empowerment book. But more details you need as well. Okay? So all of them done, all these options, it doesn't mean you are already qualified, okay? But you still have to fill the forms. And then we have to go through. But if you not qualified this time, that doesn't mean you will not. And you will do it. You will, only just time. You're almost there. Think of that. All of them, what I said, have purpose. This purpose is a three confidence. You have to have the three confidence. To build in are the three confidence. Okay? What are the three confidence? Okay? One, you develop a confidence, this system, this spiritual system. Before I said you read and reflect others and everything, other systems, even debate and other systems, everything you do, you did, and then now you develop, and this system have confidence. You develop a confidence for this system, Kala Chakra system. And then you developed a confidence with me, what I'm doing, the way of what I'm doing, you develop confidence. And then you develop confidence within yourself, with yourself, which means you believe I'm capable to do this. You have willingness and dedication. Everybody is capable. Okay. When we say capable, there is nobody innately incapable. If you have a little bit problem, that means temporarily. So that means anybody have willingness and dedication, then everybody have the capacity. Just remember that. Therefore, is the willingness and dedication. But the Lama and the system, you need to develop the confidence. Do you know why? I tell you why. You know, the other empowerment, Nondro practice, I say, no need commitments, no need confidence, just do it. Why I say that? Even others, they don't say it, but I say it. Do you know why? Because there is no danger. There is no dangerous. There is no disadvantage to explore these things. Okay? I give you example. For instance, you talking people, knowing people's background, knowing people's personality, knowing their education, their capability, their connections, is nothing dangerous, always useful, and never a disadvantage. You're doing the same thing. You study all these Nondros, practice Nondros, and receive seven empowerment. All of them all have only advantage, no disadvantage, zero dangerous. Because others, they make you seem fears like, oh, it's very complicated and skeptical and dangerous. It looks like dangerous if you did something, anything, little thing wrong. So others put it like that. So I don't like that way. It's not, as far as I see, is not right way. So I say no dangerous. If you have anybody have regret you did this, you study my books, you participate in my empowerment. If anybody have regret, please tell me. Please write me. I don't believe anybody have regret and disadvantage. If anybody has disadvantage, please tell us. So that's why I'm saying, only you have only advantage. That's why I'm doing. But when you not just develop friendship, you not just knowing people's background. If you want to do serious things, something together, just like say you want to be partner of business, you want to be shareholder, then you become more serious, right? You need more cautious. you have to a little bit be careful, right? Or you're going to marry this person, not just familiarization, you have some build, but you're going to marry it. You want, hoping this is a life partner. Then you have to be a little bit be careful, right? But it's still, it's not the end of the world. No matter you married or not married, if you married, still you can divorce if when it's really necessary. But you hope you don't have to divorce. Same thing. Similar, not same, but it's similar. So when you come in the high empowerment, it is much better to prepare rather than just jump in. It's not incredible dangerous. Okay, I said, remember? You just jump in, even no, without any preparation. I don't think it's a very little dangerous. Not really dangerous. If does a little dangerous, I say, not big dangerous. But why you need to prepare? Because maybe a disadvantage, not dangerous, but disadvantage, not prepared. So that means incredible rare precious opportunity, you couldn't take it because you didn't prepare. You just jumping in. That means you could not catch up. You could not hold. You just jump in, but you didn't achieve what you need to achieve. It's like that. It's not dangerous, okay? It's not dangerous. Please understand. As long as you are sincere. But if you are not sincere at all, you just tricking or you just have another agenda underneath, totally nothing to do with this practice, then maybe some dangerous, maybe the Dharma protectors or, the bad karma, whatever. But as long as you are sincere, even you're not prepared, you jumped. There is no dangerous, but maybe you could not achieve. You could be just defeat the purpose. That's all. But it's not dangerous. Just remember that. Why not dangerous? Do you know why? Because when you're not prepared, even you jump in the ceremony, you don't really receive anything. You just, oh, okay, this ceremony, I participate ceremony. That's it. You didn't receive anything. You didn't change anything in within yourself. So that's why I'm saying missing opportunity. So the next time you want to try again is less chance. That's why I'm saying disadvantage. It's not dangerous. So please try to understand this. And then if you have more questions, then you can questions forward. And then we can discuss for a while. And then hopefully everything clear. And please don't hesitate anything. Nothing's offend me and nothing's disrespect me. If you are sincere, any question, anything. So please don't hesitate. My talk today maybe not absolutely organized, structured. So that means you can have more questions if you want. Okay.
Okay, if you have any questions for Rinpoche, you can add them to the Q&A within the Zoom in your own language or directly on Facebook, and then we will ask them for you. While you are thinking of your questions, I'll take a moment to show you the website so you know where to look for some information. So, on the Dzogchen website, we have area Kala Chakra getting started. This page is in almost all the languages, and it gives you an idea of where to focus, because it gives you an idea of how to think about your practice. You know, what kind of, where you are with your attitude, what your lifestyle is like. None of this is a judgment. It's just a really honest evaluation you make of your own lifestyle. So it's to help you choose effective ways to practice given your conditions, and also help you figure out, you know, where you sort of are on your path, and what texts may help you with them. So we have this in all the languages. And then also it has a link to request the higher empowerment. Okay. And that leads to a application form that is also in all the different languages already. And on this form, it gives you a little more information to think about. Goes over the path again, the three confidences, and then it has quite a bit of fields for you to fill out. Even if this looks small, you can write as much as you wish in these areas on the form, because this is the form that is used to figure out if Rinpoche needs to ask, do an interview to ask more questions, or if, you know, if you're qualified. And so the number one thing that's being looked at in those forms is the understanding that you have developed. Okay. So now let us look at the Q&A to see what the questions are that have started to come in. How long or much of the generation practice do I need to do before I can ask for the higher empowerments?
That should be having information, the Dzogchen, right?
On the website, it doesn't give any exact numbers for this. It really gives general areas, like, you know, it doesn't break it down by each practice, but that's also inside of the text as well.
Yeah. So mainly is a familiarization. You build a familiarization, you know, and different people have built a familiarization different way. Some people only can build an intellectual way, and there's no other way they can build. But that they cannot do it. That at least minimum you have to intellectual way how generations very clear for you. You have to do that. So some people not too much intellect, but they build a more feeling level. Some people is more vision level. So whatever you need more familiarization, and at least you have to get some feelings.
For the person who's asking, they're asking, what are the indicators of successfully receiving the empowerment? Rinpoche has a video on this. I don't know if you want to. They're wondering how they know they received the empowerment.
Oh, receive also not only one way and many levels way of receive. The minimum level when you prepare all the conditions and then your conditions you accepted, and then you when you are participated, then you understand what you're doing. You understood something in in conceptual level. That is minimum receipt. Okay, and then maximum you can go many further. Some is feeling level, some is sensation, some many things is maximum level. Of course, non-conception or something incredible. Some incredible experience, something indescribable. That's maximum level.
Rinpoche, 100,000 prostrations may take me 10 years or somebody 10 years if they're not fit. So can the prostrations be done in the mind?
No, physical, I said 10,000 before, or only 1,000, the two options I said. They have to do at least they have to do 1,000 times, because monks do 3,000 times a day traditionally. Okay, 3,000 times a day. So if somebody not fit, probably become a fitter. So the 100,000, I'm not even asking, remember, unless you want to do that way, in traditional way.
Rinpoche, I'm trying to, I want to complete the number you suggested. Do they need to be completed before the high level empowerment, or can it be completed in a half a year?
Oh, before. All of them before. Somebody waiting for many years. Some of the students, let's say 2014, from 2014 until now, still not received. They fell a few times, but they're still doing. Okay, so you have to have willingness, because these ones definitely next time they will. Also, I want to tell you this. Also, we count many other things. Since we know you, what is your behavior? We know. What is your involvement, Jordan? Many things, we judge as well when we interview, when we when you read in the forms, we look many things. Some things you are not totally matched, but then something else add on you, or you do everything perfect, seems like in the form, but not only this, but I have dreams, I have indications, all of them all judged together.
Yes, in the United States, there was one lady who took it upon herself to translate all of Rinpoche's books, 5 books at the time, in her own language, and then gave them to Rinpoche. And so he has no idea how many prostrations she's done or anything, but then he announced that she was qualified for the empowerment because of the dedication and the time and the effort to translate 5 books. So there's many ways.
5 books in 1 year.
Rinpoche, this person's asking if they can attain enlightenment by doing the Nondro as a lifetime primary practice without ever getting the 3 isolations or the 6 yogas.
There is many ways enlightenment. So, I mean, in many ways and many stages, many depend what you mean and enlightenment, you know, like, but anyway, whatever you doing, wherever you are, your dedication, you are on the way. You never go back. That's for sure.
Many people think that you told them that there was a 5-year training program, but I think that they're wondering about the 5 subjects that you are suggesting they focus on for the Nondro. Can you help explain that? You said they need to do all 5 subjects. I think you're talking about, like, you know, mandala offerings and Vajrasattva. Okay, anyway, we do not have a 5-year Nondro program for the people who somehow understood that. Rinpoche, you could do the Nondro in a few months and somehow, or a year, and suddenly Rinpoche thinks you're qualified. And other people, as he mentioned, have definitely done more than 5 years since 2014, but still he thinks it's been beneficial they wait, right? He's not so that when they're ready. So it's not a number of years thing. And the subjects he's mentioned, 5 subjects, he's talking about the Nondro subjects. So if you take the Nondro course, you know, like the 4 thoughts that turn the mind, and refuge, and bodhicitta, and, you know, mandala offering, Vajrasattva, Guru Yoga, these things is what he's talking about. Let's see. Rinpoche, this person's wondering if there are times when it's better that they spend a large proportion of their available money on something beneficial and have almost no money left. For example, joining the pilgrimage to Mongolia, or making sure they have money and not going on something like the Kala Chakra pilgrimage to Mongolia.
Which one benefit? The same?
Yeah, they're wondering what's better, to spend a lot of their money so they can go on the pilgrimage to Mongolia and then not have tons of money left, or they save their money and not go. Like, when is it a good use of their money?
I don't know. That's difficult because depend what your money, what you want, what you you know, that's very, very complicated. This one you need a more personal question. You know, I need more not in the public, and personally we have discussed what other options you have in a life. You know, what other inspiration or desires you have. You know, like what is important in your life. It involves many things. So no, not this answer. No, I can't answer this one.
Rinpoche, can other high practices like Yamantaka, Vajrayogini, and Haruka also be practiced along with the Kala Chakra practice?
Why not? Yes, why not? But I prefer people don't need too many practices. They can focus one, you know, they can focus one. The Kala Chakra should be the, how do you say, the include everything that traditionally said, and it even the mandala and everything, the most extensive and comprehension. One is Kalachakra. I hope people can combine all this together. You don't need separately practice. That's my number one hope. Number two, if you feel you need practice, they're all together. Nothing wrong, nothing wrong. But much easier if you have feel confidence enough, Kalachakra practice it, then you have everything included, nothing's excluded. If you understand that, that's number one, the best. But if not, then you practice together, nothing wrong at all.
For those of you who are asking about when the next higher empowerment is, the only one on the schedule right now is in Mongolia, which we have an aspiration to go forward with next year. But as we've tried many years, we can't predict exactly with coronavirus what will happen. So that's the one on the schedule. Rinpoche is open to possibly doing another one. Not sure where in the world or when. So in October, probably he will start reviewing the applications that are in to date to determine where it might be beneficial or if enough people are qualified for it and look into it. So if you are interested and have practiced for a while, you should get your application in by October. We do not review the applications as they come in or all the time because you can apply in your own language. You can imagine it takes a lot of coordination with the senior student of that language to speak with Rinpoche as well. So all of the applications can be evaluated. So the next evaluation will be sometime in October. Okay. The next question. Is there any danger in Tantra? I read in a book, if one loses Kundalini during a retreat, it could be dangerous. If one does not know, if one does not know, it must not be lost during a retreat. How bad is that? Can it be regenerated? If one breaks our tantric vows during a retreat, it takes 16 lives to reach enlightenment, or is there a way to fix this?
Tantrayana samayas, most people breaking every day, many times every day. Okay? Everybody doing. The 14 vows, the root vows, is a little bit obvious and easy. So you don't have to break them. But the others, there's many others, they're breaking every day because they don't know. Most people, they don't even know. But the good thing is you prepare, repair anytime. The Tantrayana and Bodhisattva is the really good part because you can prepare anytime, you can repair anytime, refresh anytime. You don't even need teacher or anybody. You can do yourself. So that's the beauty. Okay? But who guarantee no attempt Buddhahood in this single lifetime is somebody break the vow and never repair. Then is yes, guarantee never reach Buddhahood this lifetime. No, no possible. But it's still 16 possibility. As long as you 16 lifetimes, you have still possibility reach enlightenment, even you break a vow. So as long as you had moment of inspiration, moment of intention to practice Tantrayana, that's why I'm saying, you know, like empowerment, I say always please don't minimize, even only last a few minutes. Please, a few minutes thinking, I take everything. When you repeat it, yes, yes, everything, 100% yes. That's what I'm saying.
Rinpoche, there's a few people who have additional practices. So they're wondering, is it okay if they practice, say, Kala Chakra in the daytime and then Vajra Yogini at nighttime?
No problem, I told you, no problem. If you really feels like this way, no problem at all.
Rinpoche, how about, you talked about regarding sacred images needs to be updated in our modern times. So what about if we keep statues in our home? Should we be concerned about our Yab-Yum statues at home because non-practitioners may see them and develop wrong views? Should we hide them in a cabinet?
There is many millions ways people could develop wrong views, not just statues. So best thing you can explain. You explain is why it's so important. So it's simple as explain. You can say, is male and female's union is really important for humanity, to exist humanity, and to function the humanity. If they say yes, they should say yes, anybody. Doesn't matter they're non-believers or they're extreme orthodox. Doesn't matter, they should say yes. Then you say, in the Tantrayana can understand this more deeper, more deeper and profound. So that's why this is only a symbol of that. Something like that you can explain better than what I say, or you can, at least you can say what I say. So if that way, if there is the best way, yes, best way. If you have something nice explanation to inspire other people, that's the best. If you have no possibility, okay, then you hide. So you can hide in a cabinet if you want.
Okay. Rinpoche, there's a few people asking, you have made the exception now to give the initiation of Kala Chakra online. So for some of the students who live far away, or like in South Africa, or somewhere where they don't have a huge amount of money, they don't have the money to travel to like Mongolia for the higher empowerment. So they're wondering if ever in the future, if they somehow cannot ever create conditions to meet you in person, would you ever offer this online?
Yeah, Kala Chakra, you mean the high empowerment, or you mean?
The higher empowerment, they're wondering, so it's some of the students who've been studying, some of them for now, I know a few years online with you and receive the empowerment, but they live in places like Brazil or South Africa or somewhere where they don't have huge resources, and they're concerned if they can't create conditions to see you in person, if this may ever in the future be offered online.
I prefer not online. I prefer is any possibility to receive for them. You know, maybe they have to organize in their country, and so I go there, or we can let them come somewhere more affordable way, or we find a sponsor for them, or whatever. If this practitioner is really, really good and we know, then we make that much effort. Depend how they are serious and qualified. So we definitely make effort. If there is no other option, this coronavirus go for 10 years, definitely yes, I offer from online. That's all we can do.
Well, we'll hope that the coronavirus doesn't go for 10 years. Some of you now may be hoping for it, who knows? So for people who have previously submitted an empowerment request form in the past, yes, you can resubmit a new one that's updated. It's actually better because we won't be referring back. Whatever the response you got at that time is the response. So you would need to apply again anyway. And secondly, if you have applied previously and been told yes, and weren't able to yet attend a higher empowerment, we did keep that information. We started a couple of years ago to track everybody who has been granted permission to receive it. So you don't have to keep applying. So we did keep that. Rinpoche, someone's wondering if they got drowsy at the end of the empowerment. Did it affect their ability to receive the one that they just received, the Kala Chakra empowerment? So they got sleepy while watching the online empowerment, and they're worried it means they didn't get it.
There is nothing you zero get it. Definitely not sleepy is better, but it's nothing the zero get it. Depend your motivation, your vision, your intention, your attitude, your appreciation level, many conditions. So if the others are all really good and you just a little bit sleep, not too bad. Yeah.
Okay, many people are asking for information on things like the refuge tree and that sort of thing. The deities and their position in the refuge tree is already inside Rinpoche's commentary, The Hidden Treasure. He wrote a word-by-word commentary to help you on the practice. Inside are a lot of charts and pictures, and everything is labeled for you in there. It's also usually in the Dzogchen store. I know it says it's out of stock, but it will be restocked within the week. So it's there. And Rinpoche, I think last question, there are several people, because there's still many questions. So if your question didn't get answered, you can email in. There are many people who have taken the empowerment and they've already done a Nondro in another lineage, like Karma Kagyu or something like this. So they're wondering what's the best approach for them with the practice now to qualify for the higher empowerment. Do they need to start from the Nondro from scratch and read all the books, or what do they do?
I think we should have some different information in the website for those. But the simple answer is always compromised that Nondro you already done, but you cannot say 100% that's done. you have to start Kalachakra Nondro at least, but how many percentage should be in the website? Probably around like 50 or 60% or 60% probably. That is a count as like you down the other lineage Nondros, but still you have to do maybe 40 or 30%. Can't remember where exactly. Yes, some you have to do.
Yeah, we don't have that on the website, but what usually also have said is to focus on the connecting with the lineage, connecting with the guru, and connecting with the deity. And if you've already done all your mandala offerings and your vajrasattva and all these things, that's up to you to, Rinpoche has often said.
Yeah, basically you still have to build familiarization of the Kalachakra path if you want to practice. But you don't have to be numbers exactly, you know, the traditionally said. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. And anyone online, you can always email in. And Tanya is going to lead us in the dedications. And for those who've asked, this will be on YouTube for those who want to rewatch.
Okay, so I want to say again, those who received empowerment, you read them again. You consider it like empowerment, self-empowerment yourself. Okay, so you read again, same as similar receiving. We do in the process of empowerment. Do similar way. I do again is very important, especially those who have a little bit doubt. Oh, I was sleepy, or I was a little bit distracted, or whatever. You have some doubt. It's really helpful. You do those again. This book is considered is your rebuilding your all broken vows, whatever, everything reconnecting, refreshing, rebuilding, repairing. Think this book is very special. Nobody has. Only we prepare it and make available for everybody. So please don't share anybody, and you do this for your personal developments. Okay, please. And if you're not qualified in the future, if you did everything but not qualified, means you have to wait for a while, but you are still on the way. You are nearly there. Okay, means that. So don't discourage it. Oh, sounds like too hard. So let's say if we are dangerous place, even we don't have aeroplane, even we don't have car, we definitely walk away from the dangerous, right? No matter how slow, we just walk away. Same thing. So always start much better than never start. Okay?